गुरुजी सदा साथ। ओम नमः शिवाय गुरुजी सदा साथ। ओम नमः शिवाय शिवजी सदा साथ। ओम नमः शिवाय गुरुजी सदा साथ। ओम नमः शिवाय शिवजी सदा साथ। ओम नमः शिवाय गुरुजी सदा साथ। ओम नमः शिवाय शिवजी सदा साथ। ओम नमः शिवाय गुरुजी सदा साथ। ओम नमः शिवाय शिवजी सदा साथ। ओम नमः शिवाय गुरुजी सदा साथ। ओम नमः शिवाय शिवजी सदा साथ। ओम नमः शिवाय गुरुजी सदा साथ। ओम नमः शिवाय शिवजी सदा साथ। ओम नमः शिवाय गुरुजी सदा साथ। ओम नमः शिवाय शिवजी सदा साथ। ओम नमः शिवाय गुरुजी सदा साथ। ओम नमः शिवाय शिवजी सदा साथ। ओम नमः शिवाय गुरुजी सदा साथ। ओम नमः शिवाय शिवजी सदा साथ। ओम नमः शिवाय गुरुजी सदा साथ। ओम नमः शिवाय शिवजी सदा साथ। ओम नमः शिवाय गुरुजी सदा साथ। ओम नमः शिवाय शिवजी सदा साथ।
Jai Guruji, Jai Sangat Ji. Today I'll be reading two satsangs. The first satsang is of Prithviraj Singh, Travel and Procurement Manager. And the second satsang is of Mrs. Pramila Mehta. I will start with first. Depression disappears on hearing Guruji. As may be the case with many of us in the Sangat, I came to Guruji when I was in trouble and all other help had failed. I was under acute depression, which was getting worse despite medication and every other form of help. Now, when I look back, I truly believe I was called to Guruji. How else does one explain the miraculous overnight cure? My depression was severe and I was at an all-time low. I would cry in depression and get suicidal thoughts. I braved going to work and tried to be as normal as I could on the exterior. I would wait to get back from work to get to a temple and sit there and pray for peace. This went on and my condition seemed to only get worse. One day, I remembered that a close family friend had mentioned Guruji to my mother years ago. I immediately called my mother and asked for directions to reach Guruji. I came to Guruji in 2000. I remember my first day at the mandir. I was among the first to reach and sat in the front. It was the first time in many weeks that I felt calm on entering a mandir. I remember sitting there and hearing of people's miraculous cures of serious illness. I said to myself, I will believe only when I am cured. After the first day, I became a regular and thereafter started coming every day. I would feel calm all through while I was at the mandir, but the heavy feeling would come right back as soon as I left. It was on my fourth or fifth day that Guruji spoke to me when I was at his feet taking permission to leave. He said, तेरी घरवाली सिटी बैंक में काम करती है. Your wife works in Citibank. At the time, no one in the Sangat knew me or nor had I spoken with anyone. But at that instant, I felt something lift. I returned rapidly to my normal state. I remember coming out and calling my wife and telling her what Guruji had said. I told her, now I know I'm all right. Since that day, I have never ever had depression again. Further, I remember talking to Guruji in my thoughts and praying to him to bless my wife and me with a child. Exactly a month later, my wife took a home test which came positive. That evening, when I came to Guruji, he said, घर वाली एक्सपेक्ट कर रही है जा कल्याण हुआ तुझे मुंडा होगा योर वाइफ इज एक्सपेक्टिंग you are blessed with a son. We were blessed with a healthy 9-pound boy. Guruji blessed us again with a second son in 2004. Whatever we do today, we always know that Guruji is right with us, holding our hands in time of need and giving us directions. Second satsang. With a blessing, her kidneys grew in size. After she had an operation in a renowned hospital in Delhi, Mrs. Pramila Mehta found herself battling for life. She had been a hysterectomy. She had been suffering from high blood pressure since 1995. She had to undergo a hysterectomy, the surgical removal of the uterus, in July 2000. The doctors operated on her but neglected the blood pressure factor. After surgery, her blood pressure climbed to 180 by 120 and remained at this peak for 2 weeks. Her kidneys were damaged, irreparably so. As it turned out, her creatinine level went beyond 1.8, the high end value for a healthy individual. Pramila had eternal hospital hoping she would get cured, but came out with a bigger threat to her life. She developed chronic renal failure, which meant both her kidneys, the primary blood filters of the body, were malfunctioning. Pramila did the round of doctors. She was treated in Bangalore, at AIMS in New Delhi, and at Kailash Hospital in Noida. She also went through Ayurvedic, homeopathic, and acupuncture therapies. Doctors said a kidney transplant was the only solution. 5 years after her problems had been acute, she came to know of Guruji through a colleague. It was April 2005, but she reached Guruji's only on 21st July 2005. He must have willed her to come on that particular day, for it was Guru Purnima. Guruji asked her to bring a copper tumbler which he blessed. She drank water from it every morning. She was able to visit Guruji for all of the 4 Sangat days, Thursday to Sunday, from July 2005 to December 2005. As soon as she started drinking the holy water and bathing with it, she noticed that her skin, which looked aged, especially around the neck, began to improve. One day she was sitting next to Guruji. She told him that there was no blood in her body and that she felt miserable all the while. Guruji just smiled at her and she kept quiet. On December 13th, she was suddenly woken up at 5 in the morning. Her nose felt sticky. She did not switch on the light but wiped her nose with her nightgown. She soon realized that water was still flowing from her nose. She switched on the light. To her surprise, her nose was bleeding and freely. One handkerchief was soon drenched with blood. She woke up her son, and mother and child rushed to Kailash Hospital, Noida. Doctors tried to control the blood flow but could not and had to admit her. Pramila called up her husband, who was in Bangalore. It was 6:30 in the morning and she asked him to come to Delhi immediately. She had Guruji's photograph with her all the time she was in hospital. It was found that the blood flow was related to the malfunctioning of the kidneys. To control the problem, Mrs. Mehta had dialysis 3 times in 4 consecutive days. 3 bottles of blood and 2 units of plasma were also transfused into her bloodstream. The color of her skin turned red as she had wished for a few days ago while sitting before Guruji from the pale yellow. If you ask Guruji for a thing and if it is for your good, says Mrs. Pramila, you will get it. The devotee came out of hospital in a week and could come to Guruji for his blessings again. He told her that both her kidneys were okay now and she had been blessed with a new life. She continued coming to Guruji and having the langar, a very important part of Guruji's blessings. Guruji's langar has tasty vegetables, chutneys, pickles, and sweets. All doctors prohibit such a diet, but Mrs. Pramila found that the food was easily digested and the whole of the next week passed comfortably. In February of 2006, she again fell sick and had to go through dialysis 3 times in Kailash Hospital. She managed to get an appointment with the head of the Department of Nephrology in AIMS. He suggested an ultrasound scan, revealing that if her ultrasound report was similar to the one obtained in August 2003, the doctors would pursue conservative treatment. Otherwise, if the kidneys had shortened further, then a kidney transplant would become essential. Mrs. Mehta got her ultrasound done from a local lab on a Saturday. The report showed both the kidneys had become very small. She came to Guruji and requested him to do something, even though, according to the doctor, the only solution was a kidney transplant. Guruji again blessed her. Pramila got her ultrasound done again the next Monday from the lab which had done it in August 2003 as well. To her surprise, the size of the kidneys had increased. They were the same size as the August 2003 ultrasound showed. Hence, no transplant was required. While she was in hospital, Guruji's devotee also gave out his photographs to other patients. They got cured and were released from hospital. After Pramila was cured, Guruji asked her to come to him only once a week. Coming to Guruji every day had been wonderful, but Guruji wanted new people to be blessed. But seeing him even once a week fulfills her. She says a single langar meal is sufficient to bolster her for the week, and her batteries get charged during that one brief visit. Jai Guruji. Jai Sangat ji.